We have a very special guest joining us today. It is comedian and presenter, the fabulous Judi Love.
Oh, hello. Thank you. That was really sweet.
Oh, thank you. No, I'm really happy to have you here.
I'm excited to be here.
I would like to know, first of all, what you had for dinner last night.
What? Do you know what? Oh, my days. I had lamb chops. A honey, kind of smoky lamb chops with mashed potato, which had nice, like, rough black pepper in it, and buttered asparagus. And do you know who cooked that for me?
Who cooked it?
My 19-year-old daughter.
Oh.
She is a fabulous cook. I actually saw the video of the food on Instagram and I sent it to my daughter and said, "Hey, baby, do you fancy cooking tonight?" And she was like, "Okay, Mum, get the lamb." I mean, she made it divine. It was absolutely delicious. She pan-fried the lamb first and then she made a special gravy. She seasoned the lamb and then made a special gravy and then just did a light little roast in the oven and then made the mashed potato. It was delightful.
Does she cook often?
She will cook like a couple of times a week. She is a
Nice.
really good cook.
Wow.
I'm like, slow down, girl.
You're like, don't move out.
Oh, yeah, not yet. No.
But you're an amazing cook too, right? Because you've been on Celebrity MasterChef. You were a finalist.
Well, they've survived. I've survived. It's always been one of those ones, growing up with my mum and stuff, it was always about seasoning the food really well. The same with my dad as well. But seasoning the food, being from like Jamaican background. And then from there, it was just like learning what worked for me. And, being a mum, having little kids, it was always like, what can we just quickly throw in the pan? What can we afford?
Yes.
What can we make a meal that's going to be, sturdy and last us and warm and quick? Because, by the time they've done the school run or they've done their after school activities, they're home and you want to make sure they've had something good to eat on a budget when they were younger. And from that, I think you just start to cook. I'm not a chef, but I would definitely cook up the place.
Well, because also you were studying for a master's in social work when they were young.
Yeah. So my first degree is in community arts and my second degree is a master's in social work.
Wow.
Where I specialise in mental health. I did that
Amazing.
at the Tavistock. And completely different from what I'm doing now. But, my master's made me think a lot. It made me think about life, purpose and interacting with people. So I feel like I'm still doing social work, but just in a different kind of life.
You're bringing joy.
Bringing joy and being in people's lives, whether that's in TV or on the stage, So, we're all social and we're all working. So, hey.
How long after that degree did you end up going into comedy?
Well, I remember I started comedy like 2010 and I think I finished my first degree like 2000, maybe the same kind of year. I came back and I was like, okay, I want to do a bit of comedy. And then I did my master's and I think I finished at like 2016. I took a bit of a break. So by the time I was finishing my master's, I was definitely at a stage where I was doing a lot more comedy. And I was like, what should I like make the full transition and like not do social work anymore? And I was doing part-time social work and trying to balance between the two. And it came like a year after, definitely by like 2016, 18, I'd say 18, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to go straight into comedy.
Wow.
And took the plunge.
Yeah. And did you ever find you turn up somewhere and then they'd be like, I've seen you on the telly?
Oh, definitely. I was working sometimes in a residential home and I remember turning up and one of the ladies was like, I'm sure I saw you this morning. I actually had gone on this morning to do like one of those debate shows.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm sure I saw you this morning. I was like, no, I don't think so. No way, no. And kept on because I wasn't really known then. I wasn't doing as much, so I didn't want to jeopardize any kind of like a job that I was doing in that kind of social care. And then after a while, as time goes on, you're doing a bit more exposure.
That's amazing. Like to have that change. And I think it must sort of give you stories to tell.
Yeah, I think one thing I'm really happy about and feel really blessed about that and this is not to put down anyone that got into the industry really young, but we hear from people who's been in the industry really young, how it affects them. But I think what was great is I feel like I've got a lot of like layers when it comes to, being a young woman from the UK, having a West Indian cultural background, growing up in a single parent home. I had my dad around, but they weren't together. It was a working class background. I had a mum that, migrated from Jamaica to the UK, came in like the Windrush era. Parents that had me at a later stage of life, 48 and 53. Being a single parent myself, living in social housing, working for the council, doing all those things made me see a lot of different lifestyles, made me have a lot of experiences, going through different adversities, layered me to start from scratch in comedy and have a lot to talk about that I feel that people can relate to and want to hear those stories. So, I think it's been great. And I really encourage people to not shun away from their personal life experience and don't have that feeling of like you don't fit in or feel embarrassed about what you've had to go through. And because in the end, it might be a story that you share that people, it resonates with them.
Yeah, connect with
laugh.
it, I guess.
Yeah. Laughter is connecting. That's why we really laugh, because you're like, oh my gosh, I've been through that. Or you remember it, and that's what makes the laughter come.
Like, I feel like when you're watching a comedy show and sometimes you chuckle, don't you? And then you get like that, like I find I can't stop laughing and then I start crying because I'm like, oh my God, please stop laughing because this is hurt. This hurts.
Yeah.
And that's when you can, like you say, you connect with it or you have a memory of it somewhere. And your parents must be very proud.
Yeah, they were very proud. My dad passed away 3 years ago. My mum now is coming up to 16 years. I was talking about it with my friend the other day. It was like, where has the time gone? Because my mum was quite, influential regards to, my friends all loved her. She was always that one hemming our skirts when we was going raving and fixing our outfits because, she was a dressmaker and things like that. And my dad went back and lived in Jamaica. And so, I cared for both of them as well. And it was just one of those things where the other day, I was cooking and something came on TV about, food and MasterChef and working with Higgity. And I just looked at my mum's picture and I was like, wow, all those times you was in the kitchen. And my mum was really known in our family and community for her great rice and peas and curry goat and cakes. Wow. I was like, wow, Mum, I've continued all the things that you've kind of taught me. And I never thought that was going to be one of the things, but it makes you realize that the little seeds that you sow in your children, whether it's like a legacy that you're passing on or whether it's just you stand up in the kitchen and cooking together or talking about your favorite show or a song that you reminisce on that your mum or dad liked, that how years later, how much it influences you into what you're doing now. Yeah. And I had such a sense of like, accomplishment. And no, I'm not going to be frightened to say that. I had a real sense of accomplishment that I could look at my mom's picture and, that she could feel, I could feel that she could feel, and her friends and her family would be like, yeah, your mum would be really proud of that.
Oh, that's nice.
So it was really nice.
And you said there about that she was very well known for her food.
Yes.
So you grew up in Hackney, but like you said, you've got Jamaican parents. Yeah. What was the food like? It must have been amazing.
Oh man, I mean, honestly, we had cultural Jamaican foods. Like Sundays would be rice and peas, roast chicken, but they'd have a little bit more spice on it. We'd have the normal like roast potatoes and things like that, but we'd have like the macaroni cheese.
Nice.
We might even have a bit of oxtail or curry goat on the side, homemade coleslaw. I mean, Guinness punch as well was one of our traditional drinks that we would have on a Sunday, or a stout punch, carrot juice. And then Easter we'd have things like fried fish and ardo bread, all of our traditional food. It was I wouldn't say overwhelming, it was absolutely delightful. My mouth is watering. Where's the local Caribbean shop right now? It's Friday.
Were there any flavours that you kind of struggled with, or you haven't kind of gone back to now?
It's so strange because when I was younger, I'm trying to think what food was like. I wasn't really a soup girl.
Okay.
So Saturday in a lot of West Indian homes, I don't know if us second generation, or we first generation, are keeping up the tradition. But for those who were born in the 80s from West Indian parents, Saturday was Saturday soup.
Oh.
So it was either chicken soup, lamb neck soup, or red pea soup.
Okay.
And they're all delicious. But for many kids, it was like, oh, you didn't want like soup on Saturday. But I'm not talking about any soup. I'm talking about soup that took a couple of hours to cook, you know, and you season the water. You know, you've got flavours and scallion, which is onion to us, and spring onion and Scotch bonnet and pimento seed and thyme, and you season it up with all-purpose seasoning and stuff, and you let that boil, and then you add like the vegetables, and then you have the meat that you put in there, in particular cuts of meats, and then you've got like the hard food that you put in there, the yam and you know, potatoes and sweet potatoes, and make the dumplings, or as we call it sometimes, the spinners, these little tiny dumplings that you roll with your hands. And so to us, it was just a very heavy food. We wanted chicken and chips, a fish finger sandwich. That's what we wanted. But then now, as I'm older, oh, I'll tell you, always one of my first options, a Saturday soup.
Amazing.
Yeah, I made a red pea soup, which is, you know, something I had with my friend the other day, stew peas we call it, and it's like kidney beans.
Yeah.
And it does take a little while to cook.
Starting off dry.
Dry, but you put it in water and you really simmer it down for some hours, and it makes it all red and thick and delicious. And that's where the flavour comes from. And I was having a chat with my friend the other day, and we was talking about, you know, our first time making, you know, stew pea soup. And we was like, we're grown. Like, that was what the aunties did. Like, I remember being in my 20s and stuff, and it was like auntie's house, who was, you know, big time auntie. We didn't cook those food, and I was like, we're the auntie. Like, and she was like, we was like brushing off our shoulders, like, yeah, we're the boss, because we can make stew pea soup. Like, we are it.
And what did your kids say?
My kids was like, I don't ever want that. I was like, you're going to eat it. They loved it. They were like, wow, Mum, like, usually like Nan would have made this or somebody, you know, and that's Nan from their dad's side, or, you know, talking about grandma from mine. But they just realised, like, yeah, I'm the mum. Yeah. I'm the mum now. So nice. Yeah, it's great.
Because I always think of Jamaican food as it's always seasoned really well. And
very.
I think normally we think of seasoning as like salt and pepper. But obviously in Jamaican cuisine, it's much more than that.
It's much more. And do you know what's nice, though, I think, and this is one of the things when we think about London and how diverse it is, I find collectively, like now in the UK, as a British person, doesn't matter what kind of background, if you are, you know, born here, I feel like season and stuff is expanding. You know, I've got friends who are British, English, white, Caucasian, and they are going beyond salt and pepper. You know, they know the paprika, they know the cayenne, they know to like season and maybe leave it overnight.
Sure.
And I think that's what's so beautiful about it. And there's things from, you know, the West Indian culture, for me being born here, that there's things that I've learned. Like, I love the way, as a British person, in a traditional Sunday roast in a pub or so on, how crispy and lovely the chicken skin can be, just with salt and pepper and a nice bit of garlic and thyme, you know what I mean? But getting the right salt and the right pepper, you know, and I think there's things that we can learn together that makes a fusion, which I would call Brit jam. My food is Brit jam because it's British and it's Jamaican.
And it's jamming.
Yeah, it's jamming, babes. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I think that's what's great.
It sounds amazing. Well, now you mentioned earlier about Scotch bonnets.
Yeah.
And your new collab with Higgedy, which is Higgedy pies, I should say.
Yes, Higgedy pies.
Is braised beef and butterbean pie with a Scotch bonnet gravy.
Yeah, with a rich beef and Scotch bonnet gravy.
Oh, it's delicious.
Can I? I mean, you had
I have it. Yeah.
Oh, babes, it is. I must admit, I was like, I can do this recipe, and and let me tell you something, Higgedy are great. They're absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's deep in flavour. It's really rich, and I know people might be like, Scotch bonnet, but what I want people to understand is there's different levels with Scotch bonnet. You know, I will use Scotch bonnet just for season and flavour, not necessarily for pepper and heat.
Yeah.
So this is what you got to understand. It's more about flavour. There's a little warmth, but it's not for you to think that it's going to be so spicy.
Yeah, and it's not super spicy.
It's not super spicy. It's more about flavour. Yeah. And you can, with the Scotch bonnet, you can cut the edge just a little bit off the top without the seeds, really chop it up thinly. And that would give food a flavour more than a hot spice. So this has got a little warmth to it, but it's lovely and nice bit of beef. And you know, that recipe to me it's my take on, you know, things like oxtail and butter beans is what we would cook as a traditional food. And I thought, what can I use? The fact that the beef is British as well, and then I'm adding, you know, the butter beans as well, which culturally from something that I cook, I thought to myself, this would go really well. And the flavours is amazing.
And that is that like Brit jam you're talking about, right? Because the pie is thought of as very British, and then the filling is from your Jamaican roots.
Yes, yeah. And they're just so great to work with and really promoting their pies and how useful they can be for a picnic or for a home party or just for like with the kids, and something that is quite, their food is sourced from great places. And that's what I really liked, you know, because we are all trying to eat better.
Yeah. There's only one thing I thought that would make it better, which is if like, you know how when you have pastry, you have a little like shape on top? Yeah. They could do your face.
Someone want to bite into my face? Yeah. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the next pie. If there's one, could have my face on it. But it was just so nice seeing my face on the box.
It is on the box.
I couldn't believe it. I didn't know that my face was going to be in the box. And, you know, beautiful pictures. Makeup was great. Lighting, everything was fantastic. It was such a beautiful day. When I went in and we made the pie and I tasted it, and it was just like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. But seeing the box was absolutely fabulous.
I'm thinking, like, obviously you've been on MasterChef and you won the Christmas Celebrity MasterChef, but I'm thinking you might have needed a bit of help.
Well, you know what? They've got this fantastic chef, Jordan. And, you know, I was able to come up with the recipe. I know the flavours, exactly what I want in it. And then he cooked the batch and we tested it. And I said, yes, no, it needs a bit more this, it needs a bit more that. And then when I felt like it was at the right place, he was like, okay, this is great. So I'm like, that's exactly what I want. And giving him those flavours that I usually work with and those ingredients, it was great.
Do you think you'd ever be a chef?
I would not want to. I would not want to disrespect any chefs. I mean, chefs are incredible. Their creativity, their dedication, their passion and love. Do you know how hard it is to be a chef? Like,
it is hard.
They make you look like it's easy, but. Man, I like my nails too much. I had to take my nails off when I was on MasterChef, when I did my cooking show. I'd have to be classically trained, I felt like it. And I don't think that's something I would do. But I think I would definitely train in, you know, areas that I like to make my skills better. But I like being a cook, known as a cook. And I feel like I'm okay in that lane. And it's nice to be able to have those different areas to go into. But I definitely don't class myself as a chef.
No,
I respect them so much. But I definitely would like to do more cooking.
You could come into the Good Food Kitchen, train you up.
I would love that. I do love cooking. I do have moments where it's just, I just can't wait to get home and cook for my family. I feel like food and laughter are both things that just brings us together.
Yeah. We had Marcus Brigstock in just before Christmas, and we were discussing that sort of link between comedy and cooking and you know, feeding. I wonder whether there is like a link between in that you just like to give, whether that's sort of laughter or the love of feedback. Almost.
Do you know what I think it is for me? Growing up, those were the two things that really resonated with me in any area, whether it was good news, something sad happened in the family. The two things that would be in that place, no matter what, after what tears, after what news, the two things that would definitely come after us would be good food and a bit of laughter.
Yeah.
And so that has carried on throughout the whole of my life, and I've brought that into other people's life. And if it was good things, you know, a celebration, good food and good laughter, even in the comedy circuit, when I was doing a lot more of the black circuit, the urban circuit, we had big shows. We're talking like 500 people more, and it would be comedy and food, you know. So you would have your tables, you'd have food, and you'd have laughter. So for me, it's a very cultural thing. And, you know, feeding someone, taking your time out to cook for somebody, and standing up and doing comedy and taking your time out to really make people laugh. The both of them, like you said, is pouring into somebody.
Yeah.
You know, that can be your way of showing your love.
And I think I saw you at Latitude Festival.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And Latitude was amazing.
And they do food, music.
They do.
And comedy. There's a whole comedy
one,
stage.
I can't lie. I was so nervous.
Really?
So shocked. You know, being contacted by them and asked is one thing, performing at Latitude, and then being told or asked, oh yeah, how about performing and also cooking for hundreds of people? I was like, excuse me, I'm begging your pardon. Call my agent. I was like, hey, yeah, I just saw the email. They were like, yeah, and I was like, really? You know, Latitude has got such a great reputation. And so I made escova fish, which is like a Jamaican fried fish with like a vinaigrette, onion and sweet peppers, and then a homemade coleslaw, and then my mains was curry goat and rice and peas.
Very nice.
And then my dessert was a Jamaican rum cake, or we call it a black cake.
They are so strong.
They are so strong. They are so, you had them, yeah. So we had that with a nice ice cream, and just the vibe was unreal. I mean, we had a little party in that tent, and it was sold out. So over 500 people.
Amazing.
I'd cooked for. And even now, when I think about it, that's why it's really important sometimes, especially when we have these conversations, to have that moment to be still and reflect. Because that was such a poignant moment for me, such a defining moment of like seeing everybody together, being in this amazing festival where there's just a variety of foods and culture. And actually how like comedy has put me in all of these amazing places that I could have such a variety in my life and add to other people's life. I just stood there and was like, I've just cooked with a team, don't get me wrong, but you know, I felt like a proper little chef at that moment. I was going round and watching how everybody...
You were head chef.
I was head chef, and I was tasting what they were doing. I was like, okay, yeah, add a little bit more salt here, and then just watching everybody eat the food. And then we was like, you know what? Let's top this off with a bit of reggae. Put some reggae on, and everyone was dancing, and it was. I was a bit emotional after that. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, there is definitely something about feeding, isn't there? It's that the first moment you're a bit like, oh God.
Yeah.
And I think especially British people, we put food down, don't we, on the table, and it's like we apologise.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I know it's a bit burnt, but you know,
we do, don't we?
Or sorry, it's a bit late.
So it's a bit late.
Yeah.
Is it warm enough? I hope it's warm enough. I mean,
but then the joy, just enjoy, just sit together. The plate might not be the prettiest. Sometimes you might even have to use your hands. Get that bit of bread and soak up that gravy. Have a big conversation, laugh at each other, sometimes sit on the sofa with the plate and the blanket and just be in the moment with the good food and the good vibes. Absolutely. I think, let's say it's that apology, and then like I think is what you're saying about Latitude is that then you're looking upon everyone you fed and you're like, they're enjoying it, and then it gives you so much.
Yeah, it does, because it's that thing, isn't it, of breaking bread together.
Yeah.
You know, looking at this festival and seeing myself there as, you know, was a working class single parent, working in social care, and then now being in this festival cooking for 500 people. It just blew my mind. And there was people who had traveled to the Caribbean. There was people that's never tasted Caribbean food before, and you know, maybe didn't even know the difference between like Grenadian and St. Lucian and Jamaican, or even like as well places like Ghana, which is in part of Africa, and things like that. And then, you know, people who were just intrigued, or people who just knew me from comedy. And it just brought such a mix of people that it was just really a beautiful moment.
Nice. And like you say, you started in comedy.
Yeah.
But or at least in the entertainment industry, you started in comedy. And you have done so much. Like you had your TV show, which was the Judi Love's Culinary Cruise.
Judi Love's Culinary Cruise.
I mean, I've watched
it's a mouthful, isn't it?
It is. Well, I was more like, how does anyone get this job? You basically went on a week-long cruise got fed.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just say, Sam, for the first, when we were looking at titles, I was sitting there for a time going, Culinary. I gotta get this out. Culinary.
Are you going to do another one?
I hope so. We'll see. We'll see how it is.
Bit longer cruise this time, 25 stops.
Wow. Could you being at sea is like, I love the sea. I really do love the sea. It's beautiful. And those moments where you're like, we're in the middle of the sea. But, the ships are great and the yacht. It was a fantastic job.
Yeah. And
I don't know if it's even a job.
No. To be fair, they did make you dress up in the bee costume and, you had to interact with live bees.
Oh, my gosh.
You look scared.
I was like, listen, I am filled with sugar. I don't want to get it. I can't. I was just like, when you're in that moment, I was like, okay, let's see this. It's all nice with saying that I'm going to be with the bees. Are we gonna fake this? How's it happening? Are we going to be cutting and then I'm not? It's like, no, we don't do that. You're going. I was like, wow. But then I thought, this is a moment I would have never had. Yeah. And I know the team, I know the production, I trust them. And it was a great experience. The yacht was absolutely beautiful. And, I've got to say, it was 12 hours plus a day filming. It was hard work and my crew were absolutely fantastic. The country was beautiful. Greece was, I can't wait to go back. And one thing I learned from there is how tradition passed on through. I really connected with it emotionally because it's kind of the same in the West Indies and the same over here in the UK. We talk about all these foods around the world, but actually we have a history of food here in the UK that is loved around the world. It's so funny because the other day I was on social media and a guy from America who's a comedian did a post about pie and mash and was talking about pie and mash and, oh my God, is this what you like eat in England? And I was like, yeah, if you find the right pie and mash shop. And actually, this is a tradition that, has gone on for legacy and it's really important for British people to have that tradition and to be known around the world. And the fact that people were saying, you know what, when I come to the UK, I'm going to try pie and mash. You know what I mean? The fact that
you should.
My parents weren't born here, but my mum liked pie and mash. And that I am West Indian background, but born here British, and I know what pie and mash, and now my children know who pie and mash. So I think it's really important to have those traditions and celebrate them together. Yeah,
and I think, if you have a really good plate of pie and mash, other than like fish and roast dinners, but I was to say, is there anything better than a pie and mash?
I think
British-wise?
I think a British for me, it's our roast dinners.
Yeah,
for me, I love going to a nice pub and having a Sunday, oh gosh, I might have to do that this Sunday, and have a Sunday roast. And, you've got that red cabbage, I love it. And the same as I love my own West Indian Sunday roast. But that's one of my favourite foods, was definitely a Sunday British roast.
Very
and
nice.
Our British roast is known around the world and we should be proud of that.
Yeah, you're right. That's next. You should be the Sunday roast supporter.
I should be the Sunday roast supporter, and I can do a Brit jam.
Yes.
Yeah. A little jerk chicken on the side with a Yorkshire pudding.
Now, we talked about the fact that you did your master's in social work, and also at the time you were raising your two kids.
Yes, yeah.
You must have had to prep and be very planned in the kitchen.
Well, it was one of those ones where everything was on a budget and it was like, what's good for the kids, what's healthy for the kids, but what can we afford? So I made some lovely pasta and tuna dishes. Nice. I made some lovely stews, chicken stews with vegetables because they were younger. So, you want to get those vegetables in, rice. And then we had those days where we had our little bit of takeaways. One of my things that I used to make, which really spread, was chow mains.
Oh.
Yes, I'd make noodles, vegetables in it, chicken, stir fry, should I say. Yeah. And the kids love it because you can kind of get them involved as well. And it was great for the pocket wise. And it was something that, you'd have to make it fresh. You eat it that day, and you've had something that's wholesome. So I loved things like that.
Like you say, quick. And if you're, you're studying, you're having to pick up the kids.
Yeah. And quick and something that could last, so if they wanted to go back and have some more. And a lot of those times, whatever I cooked, I'd take a bit for packed lunch the next day at work. So, like a tuna pasta.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be warmed up, but it can be in a chow mein and things like that, rice and a bit of chicken. So just making sure that, I always try to think, all right, I'm going to be really busy for the next 2 days. What can I cook that will last? And what I do now, funny enough, to really try and evade waste is if I cook a big pot of food, I always, on that same day, take half or at least a quarter of it out. Even if it's one container, fill up that container and freeze it.
Very nice.
So there's always some kind of meal in that freezer.
Do you label it?
I don't. I'm not that advanced.
Can you find? Because I find if I don't label it,
you don't know what because it goes all like white. You don't know what it is. You're like, what we eat today? Something. And that is great. Another trick that I used to do to save time is when I used to buy my meat, I usually try to season it before. So I season it before, and then if I buy a whole bag of maybe chicken, I might chop it up, and then I put them in 3 different bags so we can know we've got 3 different meals, and then I can take one out and cook it, and it's already seasoned.
And I think, like you were saying about having the experience for comedy, it's the same. You've got all that life experience where you've had to learn how to do these things, like prep, like freeze food into different portions.
Yeah.
And I think it does like kind of force you into having to learn about stuff like that. And I think it's really interesting to learn from people that have had to do that as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of my first tricks was when I used to make like spaghetti bolognese. It was like, okay, mince, maybe mince was a little bit expensive. So you would then buy, to compensate, the mushrooms.
Yeah.
Chop that up thinly, and then, put that, and it would pack up with a lot of flavours and some tinned tomatoes, and it beefs up all of that meat because it's really the flavour more than the texture, but you just want to make sure you got a bit of everything. So it's finding those little ways that can cut time but also cut costs, but then you're still getting good food.
And that, Judi, is why you're the Christmas Celebrity Master Chef.
Oh, really?
And you've actually come today from Loose Women.
Yes, I have come from Loose Women.
Have you ever cooked for them?
I think I have brought something in, but I definitely, at Christmas time, I ordered them from one of my, favourite West Indian food shops. I ordered like a whole platter of food, and we sat down in a room and we got tucked in. And I really want people to know that, don't be scared to try something. Don't be scared to say to somebody, oh, you're from Jamaica, or you're from India, or, wherever you're from, you're Italian. I really would love to taste. Where would you recommend? Don't be frightened to do that. I love for people to want to embrace and taste my cultural food. And it was so nice that I could say, look, guys, I've got us some West Indian. That's going to be our Christmas, one of our little Christmas dinners. Like, we sat down and we ate and we laughed and we ate some good food.
And drank.
And we didn't drink because we was on site. But when we had our Christmas party outside, oh man, we drank.
When you see those showbiz photos of the loose women going out
being loose. I mean, I'm with like 20 plus women, and they're lived. I'm catching up. They're veterans in the game, so they're going to be veteran when it comes to the champagne. That actually rhymed.
Right, we're going to move on to our next section now, which is my favourite dish.
Ooh.
So I would love to know what your favourite dish of all time would be.
My favourite dish of all time. Oh, it's really hard. This is a hard... Okay, I think I always have a combined.
Okay, that's fine.
So I think my favourite dish of all time has to be oxtail and fried chicken and rice.
Ooh.
Yeah. I love oxtail.
Yeah.
Oxtail is one of those things like, if it's done really well and it's this is too hard because at the same time, I love, I love yellowtail sashimi. Is it sashimi? Is that what you call it?
Like the sushi style, Japanese fish.
The raw.
Yeah, the raw fish.
Yeah.
They're very different.
Very different.
Oxtail's cooked for ages and this is raw.
Yeah, I mean, my palate has travelled.
You've changed.
I've changed. But it's nothing. You can't. I mean, with a little bit of chili and those are two extremes. That is me. Those two things.
Love that. And well, you said also fried chicken with the rice.
Listen, it's not a stereotype, but I love a fried chicken. If it's fried well and it's got a lot of flavour to it.
If you were a flavour of ice cream, what would you be and why?
Well, I think I'd have something I think it'd be a bit of rum.
Rum and raisin?
One of my
That's
favourites.
my favourite, yeah.
It's one of my favourites. Yeah, I think I'd have to be a little rum and raisin. Do you know what I mean? A little juicy raisin with a little bit of heat from the rum. Woo!
What's your favourite pie filling? What is your favourite pie filling?
Well, it's going to have to be braised beef and butter beans with a rich beef gravy and Scotch bonnet.
You've been trained well.
But generally, that is my kind of favourite pie. Yeah. Like a beef, like kidney. Yeah, that's kind of my, with lots of luscious gravy. It's all about as well the pastry as well. When that pastry and there's only like gravy left, nice.
Favourite loose woman?
Oh, that's really hard. It's hard to say I've got a favourite.
I've got a favourite.
Have you?
After you, obviously. It would be Brenda.
Oh, Brenda's amazing, isn't she?
Because I voted for her on X Factor.
Oh, lovely. Do you know what it is about Brenda? We are so naughty together. And she's definitely one of my favourites, without a doubt. And what's so nice about her, she just always, imagine everything that she's been through, she would take a minute out and always check in on me.
Oh.
I'm like, babes, like, we've had some incredible moments and, we've had some heartbreaking moments. But the beautiful thing is that girl has got one smile on her and she's so inspiring and I just love her to bits.
Nice. Is there a food you always eat on your birthday?
Of lately, I am a sashimi.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a glass of champagne.
Oh.
Yeah, I do like a lobster.
Oh.
Okay, it's good. I mean, yeah. I try to eat quite clean on my birthday.
Okay.
I try to eat quite clean because I'm usually trying to fit into some kind of outfit. But I do. And if I'm having a party, then I will have West Indian food.
Lovely.
Yeah.
What is the best kitchen tip you've ever been given?
It was about getting your pan hot before you put your steak in it. Yeah, it was something to do with steak.
Lovely.
But I can't remember. I'm one of those people where I just do it.
Yeah.
And my daughter actually really gave me, imagine my 90-year-old daughter, because her meat holds flavour so well. And what she does, I was trying to watch her, but she just moves around and hides from me. But she told me when she's seasoning her meat, she puts a bit of oil, just a little tab of oil, because it seals it with the flavour, with the seasoning.
So on the meat.
Yeah.
That's a very good tip.
I was like, okay, girl. All right.
And then you tell everyone else I taught her that.
Yeah, of course, until it's out on the podcast.
What is the worst thing you've ever eaten?
How do I say this without, gosh, I don't know if I can say this.
What, is it rude?
Someone there was a competition and I had to taste some food and it wasn't great.
What was it?
It was like a soup or something and it was not nice.
Was this on a TV show?
No, of course
not. So in other words, a celebrity chef came on, brought something in.
No. I mean, you know what it is as well? I think it's those things, food that you're not used to, and it wasn't that it was the worst. It was my palate wasn't open to it because you're not sure. And as well, if you've got children, if you've got children, anyone who's got children, they'll know when your child has made some kind of biscuit or something and you've seen them scratch their head, scratch their nose,
finger up the nose, picking
their toenail, rubbing the dough back again, running back and forth. I'm coming, just go to the toilet, coming back. And then they present this biscuit to you. And you're like, first, it's not biscuit colour. And secondly, you're looking into their eyes, knowing I have to bite this. So we know, and you know, that I love you. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's so nice. And it's just dust in your mouth. And you're like, wow, well done, sweetie pie. Have some more. I made more for you. Oh, God. When they bring it home from school as well. That's the worst, because you don't even know where it's been.
Try being the teacher that has to try all 32 of them.
Oh my, how did you do this? I remember one time, I think my daughter bought some biscuits home, and it'd fallen out into the bottom of her bag, but she was so sweet and just content to putting them back in the bag with, with the pencil sharpening bits. I was like, oh my God. I was called at work. I don't think I'll be coming in tomorrow. Probably some of the worst food is my own. When I was younger and I thought I could cook and I couldn't.
No, you're being too nice now.
No, I remember one time I cooked for a boyfriend. I was like 18 and I thought, I can cook. And I tried to make sweet and sour chicken and rice, and it was terrible. Absolutely.
What did you do?
Well, the rice wasn't cooked properly,
okay.
and I just used the jar. I didn't season it on. I mean,
he probably thought it was amazing.
No, he thought it was terrible. Yeah, he told me.
No.
Yeah.
That was the end of that, I hope.
I think I had him for another year, but yeah, it was like, yeah.
Well, my final question is, what does good food mean to you?
Good food to me is wholesome food that brings us together, that evokes memories and creates memories. That's what good food is.
That's fair. I didn't even give you these questions before. That was very, very well rehearsed.
That was just that. I just had to think about when I feel what I feel when I think about good food, and it's that. It's always, like I said, that brings back memories and creates memories, and that's what I love to do.
Lovely.
Food and comedy.
Well, thank you, and thank you so much for coming in today. It's been amazing. So nice to talk to you.
I mean, I'll be back.
I hope so.
Good food.
Thanks for listening to this Good Food podcast. If you'd like to listen to more of our podcasts, search Good Food wherever you listen to your podcasts. For more recipes and inspiration, go to goodfood.com or download our app.